Roger Savage, my dear friend, how are you?
Yep, I'm very fine, thank you.
I have a question for you.
Mhm.
What made you choose homeopathy as a means to serve humanity?
Interesting question. In childhood, I had a lot of problems with tonsillitis and earache. And whenever the orthodox treatment failed, my parents, unusually for those days, took me to a homeopath. And the homeopath sorted it out, which I remembered, but nothing further happened. And then at university, I was not feeling well, and a newly arrived student had been in India and studied some homeopathy, and he got some symptoms from me, and of all things prescribed silica, which acted extraordinarily well. And then a month later, I had another problem, which was quickly sorted out by my own research with thuya. Then I went to visit a clinic in London out of interest and met an old homeopath who, seeing a similar skin problem, prescribed a remedy and said, take it every 2 hours. Well, and no time limit. And it had eventually a simply terrible effect. And I had to think, how do I reverse this? And did it by a single dose of a high potency. And then I was astonished when he said to me, I want to retire, why don't you buy my practice? And I said, I'm too young, I haven't seen anything of life yet, I have no experience to bring, I'm only 22, it's too soon. And then I went into teaching for several years. But towards the end of my teaching time, somehow several of the students told me their problems, and some of them came from families who were homeopathically inclined. And eventually I was getting frustrated that I was just teaching them how to speak English rather than dealing with something deeper. So then when some rather dramatic things happened in my own life, and I realized I had to stop the teaching and give my attention elsewhere, it just all fell into place that I would switch then to being in homeopathy. So the wick was prepared in childhood. It was trimmed, as they used to say, in my teens or at university, and then a light was put to the wick at that point when I was 30 years old. And I have been in for 45 or so years now.
What an amazing and what an inspiring story. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you for asking. You set me thinking.